The McCarren Park Pool, once a bustling hub of summer activity, has transformed over the decades into a site shrouded in mystery and whispers. Its vast, empty basin sits like a ghost of its former self, surrounded by faded tiles and crumbling concrete. Though the park now hosts lively events, the chilling tales of a little girl's spirit linger in the air, making visitors glance over their shoulders and listen for the echoes of the past. According to local lore, the tragedy occurred during one hot summer day in the late 1970s. A young girl named Emily, full of laughter and mischief, had gone for a swim with her friends. It was said that, despite the lifeguards' vigilance, she disappeared beneath the water, only to be found too late. Although no official record confirms this incident, the haunting legend endures, and many believe that Emily's spirit is forever bound to the pool. On one particularly warm evening, a group of friends gathered at the park for an outdoor movie screening. The laughter and chatter filled the air, but as darkness fell, an inexplicable chill swept through the crowd. Sarah, one of the friends, had heard the stories about the ghostly girl but brushed them off as mere urban legends. However, as she sat on the grass, she felt a sudden wave of unease wash over her. The film played on, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She glanced towards the empty pool, its surface glistening in the dim light of the projector. Suddenly, she thought she heard a faint sound, a soft, childlike voice calling out, "Help me!" The words were so delicate yet clear that they sent a shiver down her spine. She looked around, but no one else seemed to notice. Curiosity mixed with fear compelled Sarah to investigate. She told her friends she was going to take a closer look at the pool. As she approached the edge, the air around her grew colder, and the ambient noise of the movie faded into a distant hum. It was eerily quiet, and she could feel her heart racing as she peered into the darkened waters. "Emily?" she whispered, half expecting an answer. The name slipped from her lips as if she had conjured the spirit herself. Just then, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a small figure darting across the far side of the pool. Sarah squinted, trying to focus, but the figure vanished as quickly as it had appeared. "Sarah, where are you?" called one of her friends, pulling her back to reality. Reluctantly, she turned away from the pool, but a nagging feeling tugged at her insides. What if Emily really was there, waiting for someone to acknowledge her presence? The following weeks saw Sarah return to the park frequently, unable to shake the haunting voice from her mind. She began to speak with locals, gathering stories about the pool and the little girl. Some recounted strange occurrences, toys mysteriously moving, whispers in the wind, and the unmistakable feeling of being followed. One evening, armed with a flashlight and her notebook, Sarah decided to conduct her own investigation. She arrived at the pool after sunset, the area eerily quiet, save for the rustling of leaves. She set up her flashlight and began jotting down her findings, hoping to capture any evidence of the supernatural. As she wrote, a low breeze whispered through the park, and she felt a presence beside her. The temperature dropped, and her breath formed visible puffs in the cool night air. "Emily," she called out softly, her voice trembling. "Are you here?" Moments later, she heard it again, a faint, desperate voice. "Help me!" The sound seemed to echo off the walls of the empty pool, reverberating deep into the stillness. Heart pounding, Sarah aimed her flashlight toward the pool's edge, the beam cutting through the darkness. What she saw made her gasp. A small figure, barely visible, stood at the edge of the pool, its features obscured in shadow. The girl's hair fluttered lightly in the wind, and she wore a white dress that shimmered like moonlight. Sarah felt a surge of both fear and compassion. "Are you Emily?" she whispered, taking a cautious step forward. The figure nodded slowly, her eyes wide and glistening with unspoken sorrow. "Help me," Emily repeated, her voice barely a whisper, filled with an ancient sadness. "I'm lost." Suddenly, the realization struck Sarah like a bolt of lightning. Emily wasn't just a ghost. She was a spirit trapped between worlds, longing for closure. Gathering her courage, Sarah spoke softly. "What do you need? How can I help you?" Emily's gaze fell to the water, and her voice trembled. "I can't leave. I need someone to remember me. Moved by the little girl's plight, Sarah felt a sense of duty rise within her. I will remember you, Emily. I promise, she vowed, kneeling at the pool's edge. You will not be forgotten. As if hearing her promise, Emily's form began to shimmer, her outline blurring against the dark backdrop of the night. The air around Sarah grew warmer, and the whispers of the wind transformed into a gentle lullaby, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. In that moment, Sarah understood the weight of the girl's sorrow. She had spent years feeling invisible, lost to the passage of time. But now she could finally find peace. With a final, grateful smile, Emily's figure began to dissolve into the moonlight, her voice echoing one last time, "Thank you." As she vanished, Sarah felt a warmth envelop her, a sense of closure that resonated deep within. She stayed by the pool for a while longer, the echoes of the past settling around her like a soothing balm. Determined to honor Emily's memory, Sarah returned to the park frequently, sharing the story of the little girl who haunted the McCarren Park Pool. She began organizing community events dedicated to preserving the pool's history and remembering the spirit of the girl. As word spread, more people came to the park, not just for concerts and screenings, but to remember Emily, bringing toys and flowers to lay by the pool's edge. Over time, the atmosphere shifted. The pool became a place of remembrance and reflection, honoring not only the fun of summers past, but also the memory of the little girl who had called out for help. The community embraced the legend of Emily, and the tales of her ghost turned from eerie whispers to a heartwarming narrative of love and remembrance. The pool, though empty, became a gathering place, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who have come before, and a reminder that even the smallest voices deserve to be heard. Years later, as Sarah stood by the pool with a group of friends, sharing stories and laughter, she glanced toward the water. A gentle breeze swept through the air, and she felt a familiar warmth, as if Emily's spirit was there with them, finally at peace. "Thank you for remembering me," she thought she heard on the wind, a soft echo that lingered long after the sun set, a reminder that some stories never truly end, they simply transform, continuing to inspire and connect us all. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As Sarah continued to foster the memory of Emily, the McCarren Park Pool became a vibrant gathering spot, infused with a sense of community and connection. Every summer, she organized a memorial event where families brought flowers, toys, and handwritten notes for the little girl, turning the once-abandoned pool into a place of joy and remembrance. The annual event grew larger each year, attracting local artists, musicians, and families from all over the neighborhood. Children played by the pool, laughing and splashing in the surrounding grass, while parents shared stories of their own childhoods. The atmosphere was filled with warmth, a collective celebration of life rather than a focus on loss. One particularly warm evening, as twilight descended, Sarah stood by the pool, reflecting on how far the community had come. She looked around at the families gathered, their laughter ringing out like a melody. Yet, as the festivities continued, she felt an unfamiliar sense of unease creeping in, as if something was lingering just beyond the edges of the joyous scene. In the distance, dark clouds began to gather, casting a shadow over the park. The temperature dropped suddenly, and a chill swept through the air. Sarah watched as a gust of wind rustled the trees, causing whispers to ripple through the crowd, momentarily silencing the laughter. "Is it going to rain?" someone murmured, glancing up at the sky. Sarah felt a knot tighten in her stomach. The last thing she wanted was for the event to be disrupted by a storm. Just as she considered calling for everyone to take cover, a familiar voice, soft and urgent, echoed in her mind. "Help me!" Startled, Sarah turned toward the pool, instinctively drawn to its depths. The water, now dark and foreboding, seemed to ripple with an energy all its own. The playful atmosphere of the event began to fade, replaced by an unsettling stillness. "Emily," she called out softly, half expecting a reply. Her heart raced as she stepped closer to the edge of the pool, feeling a compulsion to reach out, to understand what was happening. "What's wrong?" Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, moving hesitantly toward her. It was a young girl, not much older than Emily would have been, her eyes wide and filled with confusion. She wore a white dress, similar to the one Emily had been said to wear, but something felt different. Her presence was heavier, filled with an urgency that sent a chill down Sarah's spine. "Help me!" the girl cried out, her voice laced with desperation. Sarah felt a pang of recognition, but this wasn't Emily. It was as if the energy of the pool had summoned another spirit entirely. "Who are you?" Sarah asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "What do you need?" The girl glanced back toward the pool, fear etched across her face. "They won't let me go," she said, trembling. "I can't find Emily. I need her help." Panic surged through Sarah. "You're trapped?" she asked, her mind racing. "What happened?" "I came to play," the girl explained, her voice shaking. "I thought I could find her, but they're here too. I can feel them." She pointed toward the pool, and Sarah followed her gaze, sensing a presence lurking just beneath the surface. The atmosphere grew thicker, and the wind howled ominously, as if responding to the girl's fear. Sarah felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. This wasn't just about Emily anymore. Another child's spirit was in distress, and she couldn't turn away. "Okay," Sarah said, her resolve hardening. "We need to find Emily. Together. She can help you." The girl nodded, her eyes shimmering with hope amidst the uncertainty. As Sarah reached out her hand, a flash of movement caught her attention at the edge of the pool. Shadows danced in the dim light, and for a brief moment, she saw Emily's familiar figure standing there, ethereal and glowing, but now accompanied by darker shapes that loomed behind her. "Help her," Emily's voice whispered, merging with the howling wind. "You must help her." Sarah felt a surge of determination. "Stay close to me," she urged the young girl, who grasped her hand tightly. "We'll figure this out together." As the clouds overhead darkened, the wind picked up, swirling around them, creating a tempest of confusion. Sarah stood tall, facing the pool. "Emily, we're here," she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We need you." The water began to ripple violently, and for a moment, it felt as though time stood still. Sarah focused on the bond she felt with Emily, channeling every ounce of love and hope she could muster. "Please, help us," she cried, feeling the weight of both girls' spirits pressing against her. In response, a soft glow began to emanate from the depths of the pool. Slowly, Emily's figure emerged, her expression serene yet resolute. The shadows around her flickered uncertainly, as if pushed back by the light. "Help her find peace," Emily urged, her voice clearer now, filled with the strength of someone who had endured too long. "Let her know she is not alone." Sarah squeezed the girl's hand, grounding her as the light from Emily grew stronger. "You are safe," she reassured her. "We're going to find your way back." As the swirling shadows continued to encircle them, Sarah called out, "You don't have to be afraid. We're here to help." The girl nodded, her fear slowly being replaced by courage. In that moment, Sarah remembered the community's commitment to Emily. They had turned grief into a legacy of love, and now they could extend that same kindness to this lost spirit. She felt the warmth of the other attendees gathering behind her, their presence forming a protective circle around the two girls. "Everyone," Sarah shouted, her voice breaking through the tempest. "Join hands. Let's bring our light together." As the crowd responded, their hands clasped tightly, a wave of warmth surged through Sarah. Together, they focused their collective energy, channeling their memories of laughter, love, and friendship into the pool. The shadows hesitated, swirling in confusion as the light grew brighter, enveloping the area in a golden glow. "Emily, show her the way," Sarah called out, her heart racing. She could feel Emily's spirit drawing closer, merging with the warmth emanating from the crowd. The young girl squeezed Sarah's hand tighter, her eyes wide with wonder as Emily stepped forward, her presence a beacon of hope. "You are loved," Emily said softly to the newcomer. "You can let go now." With that, the shadows began to recede, drawn back by the brilliance of the light. The young girl's expression shifted from fear to peace as she looked at Emily, who smiled reassuringly. As the final tendrils of darkness dissipated, the girl's form began to shimmer, becoming almost translucent. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice a gentle breeze, before she began to dissolve into the radiant light surrounding them. "Remember me," Emily added, her voice echoing softly, as she, too, began to fade into the brilliance. Tears streamed down Sarah's cheeks as she watched the two spirits finally find their way home, together. The crowd held their breath, the air around them shimmering with an indescribable energy. And as the last traces of the girls vanished, a profound stillness enveloped the pool. Slowly, the winds calmed, and the dark clouds began to part, revealing the stars above. The community stood in silence, absorbing the weight of what had just transpired. Then, as if responding to an unspoken understanding, the attendees erupted in applause, a celebration of love, loss, and the enduring spirit of connection. In the following days, Sarah reflected on the experience, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The haunting presence of Emily and the new girl had transformed the pool from a site of sorrow into a sanctuary of hope. From that moment on, the annual memorial event grew even more meaningful, becoming not only a tribute to Emily, but also a celebration of all the lost souls seeking connection. Sarah found herself compelled to share their stories, gathering accounts from community members about their own experiences with loss and love. Each story added to the tapestry of life surrounding the pool, creating a powerful narrative of resilience. As the years passed, the McCarren Park Pool became a living testament to the bond between the living and the lost. Sarah's dedication turned into a series of community projects, art installations, and events focused on healing and remembrance, allowing others to find solace and connection amidst their grief. Every summer, under the stars, families would gather to share their stories, lighting candles and releasing them into the pool, a symbol of love, remembrance, and the unbreakable ties that bind us to those we've lost. And in those moments, Sarah knew that Emily and the other girl had found peace, forever watching over the place they had once haunted, now transformed into a beacon of light for all who sought comfort. As the years rolled on, the McCarren Park Pool blossomed into a vibrant hub of community life, filled with laughter, art, and memories. Sarah's annual memorial event became a cherished tradition, drawing people from near and far. Each summer, the atmosphere was electric with hope and connection, a living tribute to the spirits who had once lingered in the shadows. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah stood at the edge of the pool, now lined with candles flickering gently in the twilight. Families and friends gathered, sharing stories of loved ones lost and the memories that kept them alive. The air was thick with emotion, yet it buzzed with the warmth of camaraderie. As the event unfolded, Sarah took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. The whispers of loss had transformed into a chorus of love, uniting the community in a profound way. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey she had undertaken. That night, as she prepared to light the final candle, a familiar breeze whispered through the park, sending a gentle shiver down her spine. Sarah looked toward the pool, where she could have sworn she saw a faint shimmer at the water's surface. Her heart raced as she leaned in closer, the flickering flames casting playful shadows. "Emily," she called out, her voice trembling with both excitement and reverence. In that moment, the atmosphere shifted, and the surface of the pool began to glow softly. To her astonishment, the outline of a small figure appeared, ethereal and radiant, surrounded by a warm, golden light. Emily emerged, her expression peaceful and full of joy. "Thank you for remembering me." Emily's voice drifted through the air, clear and melodic. "Thank you for helping her find her way." Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she felt an overwhelming rush of emotion. "We did it together, Emily. You brought us all together." The spirit of Emily smiled, her presence a soothing balm. "You've created a place of love and light. I'm so proud of what you've done." As Sarah basked in the warmth of Emily's spirit, she noticed other familiar shapes emerging behind her figures of children, glowing softly, smiling with gratitude. They danced around the pool, their laughter echoing like music in the night. The crowd, unaware of the magic unfolding before Sarah's eyes, continued to share stories and light candles. But in that moment, Sarah felt a connection that transcended the physical realm, a bond with those who had once been lost but were now at peace. "Promise me," Emily said, her voice a whisper like the wind. "Keep telling our stories. Keep the light alive." "I promise," Sarah vowed, her heart swelling with determination. "I'll make sure everyone knows about you and the others." With that, the pool shimmered with a radiant glow, illuminating the entire park. The shadows that once loomed over the space dissipated, replaced by a warmth that enveloped everyone present. The laughter and stories continued, but now they were infused with a deeper understanding of love and connection. As the last of the candles were lit, Emily and the other spirits began to fade into the light, their forms dissolving into a kaleidoscope of colors that danced above the pool. "We'll always be here," Emily's voice echoed one final time, wrapping around Sarah like a gentle embrace. The evening carried on, but Sarah felt forever changed. She understood now that the bond between the living and the departed was unbreakable. Each story shared, every memory honored, brought the past into the present, creating a continuum of love that would resonate through generations. In the years that followed, the McCarren Park Pool became a sanctuary for healing, creativity, and remembrance. Sarah continued to organize events, gathering stories from families about their own experiences with loss, encouraging everyone to share and connect. The legacy of Emily and the other spirits inspired art installations, community projects, and even a book that captured the essence of their journey. As Sarah shared their stories, she felt Emily's presence guiding her, reminding her that every voice mattered, every story deserved to be told. The park flourished, drawing people together, creating a tapestry of shared experiences woven through love, laughter, and the occasional tear. And on the anniversary of the memorial event each year, as the candles flickered against the twilight, Sarah would always take a moment to glance toward the pool, knowing that Emily and the others were there, watching over them, forever part of the community they had helped to shape. The spirit of the McCarren Park Pool had transformed from one of sorrow to a celebration of life, a testament to the power of connection, love, and the enduring bond between those who have loved and those who will always remember. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.